Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network. You're listening to LOTRO Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network. Brought to you by Audible. Go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter to get your first month free. And by Doghouse Systems. Go to doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMO Reporter to get a free 120 gig SSD with your purchase.
Welcome to LOTRO Reporter, episode 305. I'm your host, Carrie, and I am joined this week, as always, by Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
I that new music, I just feel like we're like Bob Ross or something, and we're going to have happy little trees.
Just make a happy little tree there, Carrie. Just a little brush there, and happy little clouds right here.
Exactly. So a little known fact: my grandmother watched a great deal of Bob Ross, and we have many paintings, and she's actually very good.
Oh, that's fantastic!
In the Bob Ross style.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's was wonderful. I love that. And apparently, the story of that is that he didn't make very much money from the shows. It was all from his
art supplies.
Art supplies, yeah. I think that's fantastic.
But no, we have many paintings.
He brought a lot of happiness to people's lives.
He did. Mm-hmm. All right. Enough of Bob Ross this week in Bob Ross Reporter. What have you been up to in LOTRO?
I've been skirmishing. I want to get my captain over on Landy all set up and trained with my soldier, and I had a whole bunch of marks, but not enough to get my soldier trained up right. I had like 200 and something, not the 18,000 I had on my warden. And
I know.
Yeah, I had a ton. I hadn't used them all. And so I've been skirmishing on my captain and getting used to the captain and that play style, which is so different than a warden, it's like, hey, let me hit you with my face. And I'm just going to smash my face against you a few times, and you'll die at some point. And if I start getting low on health, I'll just spam my self-heals. I actually have to think when I play my captain. And I know that it's probably because I haven't been playing at high enough difficulties on my warden, but I'm still going to say that warden is a little bit of face roll all over the keyboard, and captain takes a little bit more skill. I'm sorry, Leonor. Leonor's in the chat room today. Hi, Leonor. Yeah. But I've really been enjoying it and focusing, because I still have to run through a lot of the story with my captain, on just those starter skirmishes. A lot of Amansul. Of Amansul. Because I have history with that one. I do. I really have history with that one. And a little bit of Siege of Gondomar and a few other ones as well. We'll talk about some skirmishes later on as well. And then just my warden's just not quite caught up to the training where I want it to be for skirmish soldiers. So I've been skirmishing over there as well. And I've got the full gambit. So I've just been doing like everything. Okay. And so also trying to get used to all the different skirmishes and stuff like that. So.
So you're doing prep work for that.
A little bit. I had a thought. When we get to the second round, should we increase the difficulty?
Sure, why not? Because we've been face rolling these.
Totally. But I like that. And then in the third round, we'll increase the difficulty again.
Oh, Lord. Okay, we can do that. I reserve the right after the third wipe to go back down to a difficulty.
All right. I will consider that as well. Other than that, I just need to sit down at some point and carve out a weekend and just ignore my family for a while and get through the story as well on my captain. That's my coming up. I did go back and I was editing video and waiting for renders and stuff like that. So I went in and I did some crafting, basically just working on gathering professions for my warden. I'm not going to ever do any crafting on my captain ever, because I really, really don't love
crafting.
I really don't.
No, I do like that you can set up 100 and walk away and come back in 5 minutes. It's a lot better than Final Fantasy 14 when you have to still sit there and hit the button.
Yeah.
It's like, let's not do that. Let's just like queue it up and walk away.
Yeah.
I prefer if you did it offline. What's that game that post-apocalyptic MMO? Not TSW. It's the one where you're the clone.
Anarchy Online?
No. It's no. Oh, it's not the best. It's not the prettiest, and it's really a hard game. But it's like you set up like that, so you put the pieces together and you can queue it up, and it'll like make your bandages while you're offline. It's an older game, but that would be kind of cool.
Are you sure that's not Anarchy Online? You're the clone? That's Anarchy Online. That sounds like Anarchy Online.
I don't think it was, but I might be wrong. Maybe the chat room can help us out.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You know what else? Star Wars: The Old Republic did some offline crafting as well. And Black Desert Online is the king of offline crafting. That is the world's prettiest spreadsheet calculator.
All right, I've been seeing pictures. I've been seeing that you can train things. I might have to check this game out. So we will see.
Yeah.
All right.
What about you? What have you been doing?
Well, I've been doing some of the epic story, trying to, we have spaces with skirmishes that we need to fill in. And
yes,
so many of those early ones were tied to epic stories. So I'm working on that. I probably need to research so that I'm doing this strategically, but I'm like, let's just go to the lowest epic story that I left off on and move forward. But I don't think that's the best plan, but we'll figure it out. Yes, I'm up in Everswim at the moment, doing epic story. Now, mind you, level 100, I'm walking past everybody and face rolling everything.
I bet. And have you been to Forahel yet?
Not yet.
No?
I don't need to go there for skirmishes, do I?
Oh, is there right there? Well, is there any epic story over in Forahel?
I think they might send you up there to go, hey, look, dudes, and then you get, because wasn't that like alternate questing? Like,
I don't remember.
You could do For Hell, or you can do now my brain is gone. Okay, so you can do the south between where the Forgotten Inn is and all of that. You can do that section in the 20s, or you can go up north now and do the In Their Absence stuff. Either one of those in the same range. I think For Hell was kind of the same way. You could do like Misty's, or you could do For Hell.
Okay, I understand.
So they gave people options.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm in Everswim, and then we of course did skirmishes, which we will talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
And then I may have started playing Hearthstone again.
That, you know what? That's a great second monitor one while you're crafting.
This is true. This is very true.
Or tablet, if you like that that way, which I actually love it on tablet.
Yeah, I have. My iPad is an older iPad, and it wasn't happy with me, so I'm probably going to have to uninstall and reinstall it.
Right.
But it works well on my phone.
Oh, so. Great. Yeah, and I like the way they've designed it on the phone as well. That's pretty cool.
Though I accidentally fumble-fingered and used the hunter's attack instead of doing a card, but that was okay.
Oh.
It was that or the card anyway, so it was fine.
Cool.
All right. So, yes, that's what I'm doing.
Let's talk really quickly about our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/MMOReporter. All of our fantastic people who help us keep the lights on here at MMO Reporter and help us keep the shows going. We really appreciate it, especially as we're going through our hosting change that we're having to go through now. And wow, bandwidth is expensive. And all you wonderful people downloading the shows, thank you ever so much, and especially to the patrons who allow you to download the shows. If you want to help us out, we've got some great patron rewards, as well as some great milestones that we want to hit. The next one being a patron-only podcast, which we're looking at, which we will hit in just over $100. So if you want to go check us out, go check out patreon.com/MMO Reporter.
Well, it's time for news, and we have a little bit more than we've had in the last few weeks mostly because we skipped a week.
Yeah.
There was migraine headaches and spring
Yep.
breaks and stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, but we're here. So they had some performance work that they were doing on the new servers, and I absolutely my favorite conspiracy theory. You got to hear this one, Chris.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's pretty awesome.
I'm ready.
Clearly, someone does not understand how server farms work, because they said WB made Turbine move all of the servers off site so they could close the office.
I don't know of any MMO that has their servers on site.
I know. It's like, that's not...
Blizzard doesn't have their servers on site. I mean, Bob is on site, but that's only so they can kick him during Weatherstock. Yeah.
But yeah, no, they I envision Bob Squared and Bob Cubed there. They line them up.
Yeah.
And they have one dude that has to go in and get double time just to kick him and
Right.
like put the fire out.
Well, I mean, Bob and Bob Squared are just heaping piles of metal and parts now. They've melted, so they kick the pile and kind of swoosh it around a bit. But Bob Cubed is going strong. Well, as strong as Bob can go.
Yeah, exactly. So, so they are also doing some new ISP circuit, which should help some of the people who probably like me were having problems there with their ISPs, like doing circular something or others and having all kinds of lovely problems.
You know, go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
I really empathize for the IT and the networking side of Turbine, because they've just with this hosting change that they've made, they've had nothing but issues. And what we have to realize, because actually we talked about this on MMO Reporter, we had someone comment on our Facebook page asking us to look into the DDO lag issues. And they really come down to the same issues that a lot of what LOTRO is having problems with, which is it's a really old game and it's really old code meant to run on much older operating systems. And so they've had all sorts of issues changing it over, and they're doing, I really, truly, and they only paid me several $1,000s to say this. So I don't feel guilty saying this. That's a joke, by the way. That I really do feel that they're doing everything that they can. And I think whether or not you're happy with what they are doing, you have to understand that I think they're doing their best. Whatever you agree with their choices or not, I don't think they have put him off. I don't think they put him off, put the work off. I don't think they've put, I was thinking of Bob there. I don't think that they're slacking or anything like that. I think they're putting every ounce of resource into this as they possibly can.
Exactly. I think they, when they moved from the one operating system to the other, they just ran into stuff that they're still chasing. Speaking of things that they're chasing, they are hoping an Osonium upgrade will fix some of this. This is what's going to come with update 18. Some Osonium's going to fix some store crashes. The login server should fix the server full error that people are getting. They're going to have some new graphics setting options for reducing graphics and client load in PvMP areas. That should make people happy that they can do that on their end.
Yeah.
Personal computer end.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Minas Tirith and Pelinor's data footprints were humongous, which doesn't surprise me given the size of the cities, but they're going to try to reduce that. Yep.
Well, again, I think they're trying to make a really good, pleasant experience for all the players, and I wish them all the luck with this. Based on prior history, though, I think we're in for a few more bumps. This is very complex changes, and I really hope that they do their best.
Yeah, so one of the workarounds that they're been doing to help with some of the problems is they're going to be bringing the servers down for 2 hours every Thursday, basically to let them breathe and reset them. And hopefully that whatever it builds up, I'm assuming that something is happening that they've discovered if they basically shut down and reset once a week, it fixes it until they can get a permanent fix.
Right.
Unfortunately, it is prime time EU time when they're doing this. It's 8 to 10 Eastern, which is right in the middle of prime time EU playtime.
Yeah. again, this is really common with other MMOs that have downtimes, weekly downtimes, usually on a Tuesday, where they reset the servers. Usually it's a couple of hours. Sometimes there's a patch. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes it's just, got to go in and kick Bob Cubed. And it's a long drive from Boston to the data farm and then kick it and then drive all the way back. So
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
the reason that they have to pick these times, ladies and gentlemen, is that they have to pick it when they're working, right? This is during their work time. So if anything goes horribly wrong, they're not having to bring people in to fix it. The people are there watching the update. And
Exactly.
they could put it a little bit later, but really, I think it's just making the best out of any possible situation. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, and most, as you said, most MMOs who have weekly downtimes, LOTRO doesn't have a scheduled weekly downtime, but
Right.
they're Tuesday. I mean, I'm always watching Twitter. We're down, we're up. Okay, thanks. See you next week. We're down, we're up. See you next week. It's normal.
I really feel like I'm a Turbine fanboy this week. But you know what? I've seen enough of these sorts of issues come out with older games that I really do think they're doing everything they can. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. So, speaking of more fun stuff, it's your turn.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was thinking about downtimes. There is a scheduled spring and summer schedule for updates, which is always exciting. In April here, we're going to get some Hobnobbigans coming up again, a couple of XP and skirmish mark boosts in weekends in April, and then the anniversary is going to be from the 28th of April to May the 8th. And what anniversary is this, 9?
Yeah, I believe it is.
That's next year's 10. 10 years. It feels like, I hate to say, it feels like way earlier than 1998 that LOTRO came out.
I know. It's just...
You know what?
crazy.
It was at the very tail end of that 1.5 generation of MMOs, right? EverQuest was 1, and then WoW, and that whole thing was really 1.5. It wasn't a whole generation update, I don't think. EQ2 was even in that sort of 1.5 sort of thing. And then sort of the 2s started to come out after that with a big shift in style to more sort of action combat stuff.
Right.
So it just feels, because WoW came out in 2004, it feels like it's from that era. Or not.
Yeah.
I said 1998. I meant 2008.
Whoa,
it's not 20 years old here. That's what I meant. Whoops. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
now,
go ahead.
I was going to say, now, I do notice the lack of festivals in March and early April, because the Spring Festival doesn't come till June.
Okay, to me, June is summer.
Yeah, June 20th is when summer starts.
Yeah. I wonder what's causing it to be pushed so far. I wonder if...
I'm going with Bob Cube and the server lags of Doom.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe someone in the chat room or someone who listens can send us an email, sort of the last few years worth of events when those festivals fell. But I do remember...
Late. They fell late.
Yeah, they're always late. That's the thing. It's a LOTRO thing, is that, hey, we're going to do our festivals at the end of the season, not the beginning where you'd think there would be.
Yeah, well, they had something a couple of years ago that caused a few of them to be late, and then they have just been super late ever since.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, and then, then June, and then there'll be something in July, August, and then something in September, October, and it's for 6 months there, every other month, there's a month-long festival.
Right. Now, they don't have any sort of update 18 dates on there. Do we know anything? Maybe is there new patch notes or anything like that for update 18 that gives some hints?
There are some release notes. They don't have dates, though.
Darn it.
It's just on Balrog. I'm thinking the next few weeks. But we are going to be going to Far Anorian. And I'm sure I mispronounced that. We're going to be leveling up to 105.
Woot woot.
Uh-huh.
I like leveling.
Then we do get an instance cluster. Battle
Yay!
of Pelennor Fields.
Ooh.
So we're going to get the Blood of the Black Serpent, Quays of the Harlorn, and the Silent Street.
Ooh.
And these are just the single instances. The raid level, that sounds like they're taking one of the singles and making it raid level appropriate, is what I have read.
Awesome.
People are crying lazy, but I'm crying 9-year-old game.
Yeah.
So
they've got some mounted combat in this too, don't they?
they do. Well, it's Battle of Pelennor. You have to go in on your mount. I mean, come on, it's required. Not all of it will be mounted, though. Just the one thing.
Imagine a new shot from the movie where all the soldiers of Gondor are rushing out to the field, and they're running, because they don't have horses. Running, because nobody likes mounted combat. Running. Hold on, just 1 second. Okay, it's a lot of armor. Okay, and running. They got their flags. Okay, hold on, just 1 second. Okay, and running. Yeah, so I'm all for I actually like mounted combat when I'm not anywhere near any sort of geography where I will run into things and fences and die because I'm running into a fence over and over again.
Yeah, I do. I think it's kind of fun. I like to zoom way out and just ride in circles.
Now I'm totally picturing that run from the movie with that big epic side camera shot following the guys running. But of course, all the armor's going clunk. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for some reason I was picturing Hobbit size. That makes it funnier.
Well, yeah. War pigs. They were dwarves, and the dwarf battle was pretty awesome with them coming down running.
I did.
Running, and it's a war pig.
Total tangent. Did you see the extended edition yet?
I have not yet.
There is an
waiting.
extended version of that battle that is absolutely bleeping awesome.
All right, I was waiting for all three of them to come out, and then they were out of stock on Amazon, and then they were still $70. And I wanted to, but I haven't yet. So I need to watch all of the extended versions. I need to sit down, and we need to watch all of them. I think that's like an entire week.
You know what? One day, we used to have very, very back in the good old days. Yep. We used to have a listener, and I'm trying so hard. We met him at meetups. Oh, I can't remember his name. He tried a podcast for a little while. Oh, I hate that I can't remember his name. It really bugs me. I totally remember him and his personality and all that. Super nice guy. Really nice guy. He used to have friends over, and they used to watch all of the Lord of the Rings, and they used to have a Hobbit meals day where they had all of the Hobbit meals throughout the day while they watched all of the Lord of the Rings movies.
I would be in a food coma by the day, because it's like 7 meals.
He said, no, it was like 11 or 12. And he said that it was incredibly challenging to eat food when you got to like 8 or 9th meal. Because even if you had small amounts, it's not like snack stuff. It's meals. Right?
Yeah.
Breakfast and second breakfast is not like breakfast and then little tiny appetizers. It's second breakfast. You have to have second breakfast, right?
Yeah.
11Z's, lunch.
Yep. That's your luncheon. And then
luncheon, afternoon tea, dinner, supper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways. But can you imagine that now, 2 days in a row with The Hobbit and then The Lord of the Rings? And then they can make the Silmarillion, which would have to be a 7-month long miniseries to make it work. But all right, back on target. Stay on target.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go tangenting. So they decided to allow burglars to use bows, and then internet has exploded.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, burglars can now use bows.
But stabby.
I know.
Sneaky.
I know.
Pew, pew.
I hated that part.
That should be like a t-shirt. Stabby. Sneaky. Pew, pew, question mark?
We need to get quick.
Yeah.
To Trefoil or whatever that site is. We'll make one of those.
Yeah.
Pew pew. Yeah, people are not happy with this change. I don't know if they're rethinking their decision or if this is the one they're stuck with, but they're sticking with. But
yeah.
That kind of freaked people out.
Yeah, that's just wrong. That's wrong. Anyways, there's also some discussion on the quest pack cost, which is actually a fairly fantastic number of turbine points. 1995 was the year I graduated from high school. Yes, I'm that old. And so it's a fantastic number, but is it the right number?
I don't know that it is. So there was a great discussion. Well, maybe it's going to be lower. It's just on Bullroar. Here's the picture. And Quartermaster, you chimed in. And he said, quest packs are typically $5.95 to $7.95. And the instant clusters, Rohan and Isengard, were $14.95. So he's saying, you add the quest price and an instance cluster, and it should be $22.90. But some of those quest packs had instances in them for $7.95, and I'm pretty sure the Rohan and Isengard quest instance clusters had quests with them. So this isn't really good maths to me. It's not making. It seems high.
So is it still like 1,000 points to $10? Is that a good analog still? Is that about the same? So $20 for this?
Yeah.
Is this an expansion amount's worth of content?
It's 670 plus quests, 70 plus quests, deeds, 3 instances in a raid that they haven't. The raid's not out yet.
Let's think about this on the work that had to be done on their end. They had to create a whole new zone, right? This is a whole new zone, whole new region. Is it just one zone, or is it several zones in this region?
It is. Let me look. I haven't actually been on Balrog.
You got to think about the amount of work. If it's a couple zones, then that's geography they had to create.
Let's see. New feature,
right.
Advanced level 105, access. It's a region, so it is going to be more than one zone.
Okay, there you go. So that's a few zones they had to create. An instant cluster, 3 instances. Those are time consuming. The amount of quests is a little bit low. What does they say? 70 quests?
70, yeah.
70 quests.
70
right.
plus. But most of them are usually in the 100. Like the Great River, I want to say, was like 100 quests. And that wasn't a very big area.
Right. To me, I think this is too much for a quest pack. It's too much for just the instance cluster and raid. But I'm not offended by the amount for both of them together. I'm not horribly offended. I would love to hear reasons why I should be offended and why I should be raising a bigger stink. But I'm not really that offended by it. What do you think?
I don't know. I feel, to me, in my gut, it's a little high. 1995. I would have liked to seen it maybe 1695. Because like I said, the math isn't adding up for me. $7.95 for a quest pack, sometimes with instance, $14.95 for an instance cluster that I'm almost positive had quests with it. Yeah, so $14.95, $15.95, somewhere in there. That's and then there's a big call for them to break it apart, and you can either buy the quest or buy the instance.
Because some people don't run instances, yeah.
Correct. I don't think that's going to happen because here is my theory. My theory is they're like, okay, we'll give them an instance in a raid. They're asking for that. We're going to make everybody buy it. That's the only way we're going to get our money back out of this.
Well, and they're doing what has been asked of them. They've been wanting, and I know I've complained about the lack of instances because that's one of my favorite things to do. I'd actually like more skirmishes too, but hey,
Yeah.
And raids, people have been asking for that. It is for LOTRO. I think it's a high portion of our population, our listeners, I bet, probably run instances, at least based on the ones that I've talked to in the past. But of the LOTRO population, I bet you a way larger percentage is more interested in questing in areas rather than,
the instances. Exactly.
Yeah.
I will go into an instance to see it once, but I'm not a raider, so I'm not going to repeat.
I don't mind raids, but I'll run instances till the cows come home. I just love running dungeons. I like the whole experience of it. I think it's really a lot of fun. Okay, so we'd love to hear what our chat room thinks. We'd love to hear what you think out there in LOTRO reporter land, and let us know whether or not we should be raising a stink about this. And the biggest thing is I'd like to hear why. I'd like to hear people convince me why I'm wrong, why I should be up in arms about this, why we should be planting the Point of Scrooge flag.
In the middle of the nines.
Yeah. So let me know about that. Now, for this week's Skirmish of Skirmishes, we were joined by the lovely Isani, who came and ran the Siege of Gondomar and Thievery and Mischief with us over on Brandywine. And I had a lot of fun, mostly because we got to once again partake in the glory that is Genghis.
Genghis was pretty odd. Genghis was in fine, rare form at the Siege of Gondomar.
We started with Thievery and Mischief, and Asani pops him, and he goes to the nearest wall, and he's like, look, a wall, thump, 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 and he's running into the wall over and over and over again, like right away.
Yeah, it's like, hey, wall.
And then he phased through the wall. I guess she took a step forward. Of course, Genghis is a warrior. And
so he stays in front of her.
So he stays in front. So he phased through the wall and then was on the other side, but was too far away. So he was bashing into the wall from the other direction, like a foot away from the entrance. Like, let me through. Let me through.
Like, Genghis, 2 steps to the right. There you go. There she is.
My goodness. It was like a lost puppy that couldn't find his master. And that was the start. So I highly recommend the episode's just uploading tonight. Not the episode, but the Skirmish of Skirmish, if you want to check that out. It is well worth your time to check that out.
My favorite part of that was when we lost him completely.
Yeah,
he just disappeared. He's like, he was doing good. He was killing stuff. He was out in the lead. He was actually being effective. And we went to the other point and like, where's Genghis?
Yeah.
He was so proud of himself. He'd stayed where he was.
Yeah, he was waiting for his little doggy treat. I'm a good boy. I killed stuff. Stabby, stabby. Yay, yay. Yeah. Yeah, oh my goodness, it was painful. But we did run both dungeons. Now, what was your favorite?
I believe I said Siege of Gondomar. I believe I said Siege of Gondomar. Yes, because it's a different. Because you can go, you have to kind of pay attention. Thievery and Mischief is not that much. It's kind of point A to point B to point C. It's the offensive, and then Siege is defensive. Yeah. And I kind of like the defensive ones where the waves are coming at you because it keeps you busy.
Yeah, and Isani also voted for Siege of Gondomar, which sealed its fate. It was the winner, but I was the odd man out. I voted for Thievery and Mischief. Just the variety in the bosses that they have in there was really nice, and I've always enjoyed that. And the final fight really sealed it for me, so I really enjoyed it. But unfortunately, I was outvoted, so moving on to the second round is the Siege of Gondomar.
Yeah. So the complete party wipe at the boss in Thievery and Mischief sealed it for you?
Shut up. Don't talk about that. Not supposed to talk about that.
2 minis and we wipe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go watch the video. It's pretty good.
Hey, so did you want to talk about a special guest submission?
Well, you were talking about face rolling with your guardian.
No, with my wardian.
Your wardian.
Wardian.
Yeah.
Woo. Warden.
Right. Well, and he sent this to me just before the show. It's like, hey, I think that's what he typed. I think he face rolled the keyboard, and I the words looked kind of like, hey, I think you're recording a show tonight, so here's something for you.
Yes.
But somebody has put up a Guardian guide on the LOTRO forums.
Very nice.
It's got colors.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so funny. In every game that I've ever played, and it's funny because I podcast so much and I talk about games so much, but I'm not a theory crafter in any way whatsoever. So I look at this and I recognize numbers and letters in groups that make them into words and somewhat sentences. And I look at it though, and I'm not the type of person who really digs into theory crafting stuff. I'm the type of person when, like, I think WoW and Rift were the ones I rated in the most. I would be the one being told, okay, wear this gear, this gear, this gear. Here's a good rotation, and then I beat the crap out of things with it and do very, very well because I'm a good boy and I do what I'm told. But looking at this, if you are a theory crafter, this is fantastic. I do find it's a little bit heavy on you got to know what you're talking about to get it. This is, hey, fellow theory crafters, here's some discussions on Guardian stuff. It's not like, hey, noob, do this.
Exactly. It's lots of maths and numbers and formulas.
But if you are into that, you're going to get a crap ton of good information out of this.
Exactly.
And a crap ton is a very official word, so you really should go check it out. All right, let's talk about our sponsors. If you're looking for a new PC, check out doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMOReporter to get a free 120 gig SSD in addition to the 1 terabyte drive that comes with their system. Just go to doghousesystems.com. Really easy. Coupon code MMOReporter. Doghouse Systems is, of course, the premier boutique PC maker. And you can also go to audibletrial.com/MMOReporter to check out their selection of the world's finest finest audiobooks. I am a subscriber and I really enjoyed it. And I get audiobooks for my long commutes as well as my podcasts because I usually run out. So go check out audibletrial.com/MMOReporter. You can sign up, and if you go to that link, you'll get the first month free, which is really cool. And you can keep the books as soon as you use the credit that you get every month from your subscription. You can keep the book forever. Just make sure you use your credits before you cancel the subscription, or else you lose them.
So in community this week, Turbine tweeted and put on their Facebook an article by Indie Vader about the most positive MMO community. And it talks about how LOTRO, Lord of the Rings Online, in their in-game community is a very, very positive place. They're very helpful. They're very polite. And then 2 weeks before that, there was another article that I ran across on Lena Willow, and it's called Filth Fury in the LOTRO forums. So it talks about how the LOTRO forums are a wicked hive of scum and villainy, I believe has been put.
That's the words I used. Yes, we can set some geek hearts afire by mismatching our geek references.
Yeah, so the blog is Lena's Biscuity Burrow. So of course you can tell she's a hobbit. I do believe she's on Landreval. She might be on Laurelin. But so I just found this very interesting that there were this big justification of two articles that I ran across saying pretty much exactly the opposite things of each other.
And I think the difference, and we talked about this in the pre-show, is the difference between the in-game community and the forums. Because as you said very well, it's wretched hive, whatever, scum and villainy, blah, blah, blah. And Lena Willow also said, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. And what we always have to remember is that forums are an infinitesimally small portion of the community that posts. Well, you know what? It's an infinitesimally small amount of the community that reads the forums and an even smaller number of the community that post on the forums. And it is players who are the most passionate about the game. And passion tends to lead to more pointed comments. So these are people who are so passionate about the game and want it to be great. So that's where I always try to see where the anger and sometimes I write stupidity on the forums comes from, is that passion for the game.
Exactly. What I have an issue with is when you tell somebody who has an opinion that they're stupid and should go die in a fire or something. That's not okay, guys.
Yeah, and right.
You can disagree with them in a polite way.
There's the relevant XKCD comic, right? The hold on, someone's wrong on the internet. I have to fix it. Yeah. Anyways, so what do you think out there? We both kind of agreed the in-game community is fantastic. I remember when we went to free-to-play, I got on a Hobbit character, I think my burglar, and I sat around the starter areas of the Hobbit communities, and I just helped out and answered new questions of new players when we went free-to-play. And I know that I was amongst many people who did exactly the same thing, just kind of hanging out and helping out to welcome the new community, and that's the in-game stuff. But there's been a lot of anger. There's been a lot of anger directed towards Turbine as well as other players, towards the community managers. I know that, I remember Patience even and Sapiens getting all sorts of, the worst community manager ever, learn how to do your job, noob, stuff, which I always was quite surprised by. Even if I didn't always agree with their particular approach to things, I think they did a fairly decent job.
Yeah. I mean, this has got to be, community managers have got to have one of the worst jobs in the world. It's got to be worse than customer service. It is customer service, but you know what I mean? Like, my TV broke, customer service kind of stuff. My cable's out, customer service.
Yeah.
That is one job that I think is a calling rather than a career myself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, there will be links to the show notes. I would be interested in to hear what our listeners think of these two articles.
Yeah. And we are generalizing. I'm sure there are some wonderful people on the forums and some horrible people in games.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, absolutely.
I've met a few.
On both ends of the, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so if you've got an in-game event that you want us to mention, please let us know. And if you have any questions or did you know submissions that you want to send to us, also, please send some information our way. I just wanted to mention real quick something that we started over on MMO Reporter. We've actually been posting them to YouTube as well. We've started to integrate our hardware reviews and do a few more into the actual show. So usually the last segment before our quick mentions over there, so about 2/3 of the way through the show, is our hardware reviews. And we've done things like this monitor that I'm staring at right now and have to send back.
You have to send it back.
A mouse, a very expensive and fantastic mouse that you'll have to see whether or not all three of us thought it was worth the money, and a fantastic sounding headset with some unfortunate hardware difficulties. So that has all been happening over on MMO Reporter, so go check it out. Now, Carrie, we've mentioned a few times that we want to hear from our listeners. What are the different ways in which they can contact us?
They can email us at lotro.reporter@gmail.com. They can tweet at us at Lotro Reporter. They can check us out on Facebook. Just search for Lotro Reporter. They can leave us a voicemail at 616-666-6778. Be sure to check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/MMO Reporter Network for the aforementioned hardware reviews and other stuff we've been doing. They can also check us out and leave a comment on our website at LotroReporter.com. And they can be sure to check us out live at twitch.tv/MMO Reporter. If you subscribe to the channel, you know when the shows are going live and when people may have time to stream some stuff. I may stream Terrible Hearthstone. I'm not sure. You can check me out on Twitter at the Carrie Mac. It's TheCarimac. If there is a Carrie Mac anywhere on the internet in games, it's probably me, but you might want to double check. How about you, Chris? How can they find you?
At Almazar, ALMAZAR.
Yeah. All right. So.
Yeah. I had fun. It was a good show this week.
It is. And then next week we should be skirmishing.
Yeah.
So I don't know who we're gonna get, what we're gonna do yet.
Still working on that.
We'll figure it out. Yep.
All right. I keep forgetting. Did you want to end things this week, Carrie?
I'll let you do it since I stole your words anyway.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching the show on YouTube or downloading the podcast. We sure appreciate you taking part in this show, and thanks to our chat room for coming to hang out. Thanks to all of you for being a part of this great LOTRO Reporter community. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you come back again next time, but most importantly, we hope to see you in game. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.